lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. Today I want to talk about my reading wrap-up for the month of January 2026, but first I usually start my videos with what I'm reading and what I'm drinking. Right now I'm literally just drinking bottled water because I just came from the gym. I got a membership for an early birthday present, so, thanks Mom. But as far as what I'm reading goes, I'm also reading Postmortem by Patricia Cornwell, which was also a suggestion from my mother, so I guess this is a mom-heavy video. As far as the books that I read in January, though, I'm going to start with the physical books because I'm at the library right now about to return them, and there's about to be some bad weather, and I don't know if they're going to close early today. So the first book that I read was Whack Job. It's about the history of axe murder. I initially thought it was about the history of axes, and I'm boring enough to be like, ooh, that sounds interesting. But it's by Rachel McCarthy James, and it's not quite what you would think it would be. It doesn't really go a lot into like modern axe murders or anything like that. I was about to put it down. But it doesn't go a lot into like modern axe murderers. It really is about the history of axes and axe murderers, which I thought was interesting. But that's me. I read a book about bananas and was like, yes, more of this. So, to each their own. The next book that I read in January was Illuminations by T. Kingfisher. This was so fun. I usually prefer her horror, but this was so fun. I think it kind of like Chalk Zone in some ways, like, drawings can come to life. Super fun, super sweet, just heartbreaking in some instances, but yeah. T. Kingfisher, she's as witty as ever. Would recommend, especially if you like her, fantasy, I guess is how you would put it, like fairy tale adaptations. This is a good one. The next book that I read in January was The End of the World as We Know It, which was written by a collection of authors. It's a series of short stories based on Stephen King's The Stand. I was so excited for this one, and as you can see, this is a thick boy, but with short stories, you can kind of, read them at your pace, I guess. There are a few short stories that I haven't finished, like, at the very end, but I actually have an audiobook copy of it, but I am basically done with it. It was kind of rough, I'm not gonna lie. Rough as in some of the content was a little rough. I don't know if you would be able to look up triggers for this one because of the fact that it's short stories, but if you can, please do. There's a lot going on here, like a lot. I mean, if you've read The Stand, you know that there's already kind of a lot, and some of these stories kind of dive in and they get a little bit visceral and grotesque. Not always in a bad way. Sometimes, though, it was like, maybe we didn't necessarily need to know that, but, thanks for telling me. Appreciate you feeling comfortable enough to share that with us. And yeah, some of them were really heartwarming. It kind of ran the gamut. Overall, though, I would recommend it if you like The Stand. Anyone else? I don't know. Maybe if you like Eric LaRocca, you would probably enjoy it. That's actually it for my physical books. From this point on, it's all audiobooks and ebooks. See, this is the issue with filming in public. Apparently there's just a series of bells that go off at this church every day. I had no idea, so maybe I could have picked a better place to film, but that's okay. This has been going on for 3 minutes. I don't know what's going on. I'm probably about to move. It's pretty, just like, I can't film what's going off. The next book that I read in January was That's a Great Question, I Would Love to Tell You by Elise Myers. This is an autobiography of sorts for Elise Myers. She is a rising comedian. She's been getting big in the last few years or so. And to some extent it's about her struggle with kind of neurodivergency and OCD. really enjoyable read, extremely relatable read. I felt kind of privileged being able to have that look into her life. The next book that I read was One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon. This is a story about a black utopia, supposedly. It's a little bit Stepford wifey. It's like Stepford Wives mixed with Get Out, almost, kind of. It's like the call is coming from inside the house. I'm making a lot of comparisons here. Hopefully you get them. Really good book, but oh my gosh, the ending. Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. The next book that I read was Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. This was one that I just stumbled upon on Libby. I was sitting with my step-grandmother in the hospital. I wasn't able to really do much of anything because she was sleeping. There were no lights on. So I just threw on an audiobook. You know, you can't sleep in those chairs, so there wasn't much chance of that happening. But yeah, so I threw on an audiobook. Sleep Tight is a thriller horror. I had some qualms with this one. It's yet another bad example of dissociative identity disorder, which I do not have, but I know that it is a struggle within, you know, that community. People who have DID, like, they mainly get negative or misinformed representation. There's unfortunately a lot of that in this book. The next book that I read was Here Lies a Vengeful Bitch by Cody Crowley. I think it might be YA horror, I'm not sure. It's very high school, not necessarily bad, but this girl comes back from the dead and wants to get back at the people who killed her. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily anything to write home about. So, you know, if that sounds like your type of thing, give it a go. The last book that I read in January was a very pleasant surprise, actually. It was Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I've been looking for this book, haven't been able to find it anywhere. Finally stumbled across it on Libby, and I was so happy. Let me tell you, now that Chuck Tingle has started delving into writing horror, I'm so here for it, especially since it's all like queer horror, it seems like. I don't know. Totally here for it. This was a good one. It's kind of about the concept of what if luck was kind of a measurable thing, like it was an actual thing that you could measure. There was a lot more to it than that, because of course there was. But yeah, definitely enjoyable. Had a good talk about biphobia. It's Chuck Tingle, so of course I recommend it. Okay, that makes it sound like I recommend everything Chuck Tingle. I have no idea about his other books, his erotica. I have not read it, honestly. I've just read the titles, and they're hilarious. But that does it for my reading wrap-up for January 2026. I think I read about 9 books for the month. I wasn't counting as I went. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it way more than you know. I hope that you are having a good year so far. I'm not positive when this will come out. I assume probably early February. Not positive. We'll see how long it takes me to edit it and everything. I have several other videos that I need to edit as well, so I don't know where this is gonna fall in the queue. Feel free to like and share and subscribe and comment, all that jazz. If you would like to. Not gonna twist your arm, you know, not a big deal. I do this for the fun of it, basically. What is most important to me is that you remember, now most of all, to love yourself. Please, this is a sincere plea. Please remember to love yourself.